Classy, chic, and smart, Charlotte is pretty popular among fans, which became even more apparent when I was reading all of your lovely comments on my last video about Big and Samantha. I couldn't help but wonder, were Charlotte and Big meant to be? Hello there, and welcome to my channel where I analyze and talk about TV shows that I like. Around here, the curtain is blue for a reason. There's always a reason. Let's discuss. When we look at the turbulent relationship between Carrie and Big throughout the entire series, it just doesn't feel like they click 100%. It doesn't feel like they're right for each other. And there's a number of theories as to why this is, but we'll save that for another video. I have seen countless videos, TikToks, threads, and comments, some on my last video, that it should have been Charlotte and Big, not Carrie and Big, and there's quite a few reasons for this. If we compare Charlotte to Big's first wife, Barbara, and second wife, Natasha, we can see some striking similarities. All of them are brunette, they dress in a very chic, elegant way, they look very put together, they're independent, and they have great jobs. But most importantly, out of all of these traits, each of them fit better with Big. By that I mean Charlotte, Barbara, and Natasha fit into Big's circles. These were women that he could easily introduce to his mother, to his friends at work, and he could easily take them to social events. Compare this to Carrie, who absolutely struggled to fit into his high society party in season 2 episode 10, The Caste System. This episode was really important because it showed the absolute difference between Carrie and Big in terms of their status in society, where they exist on the social ladder. Let's quickly compare Carrie to any one of the random women at this party. The clothes, the hair, the accessories. Carrie stands out like crazy, and that's probably why at the beginning of this episode, Big gifted her that bejeweled pigeon purse, giving her an opportunity to fit in a little bit better. We even see other women at the party with tiny bejeweled purses as well. But putting aside Carrie's looks for a second, what about her manners, her body language? She attempts to light up a cigarette and the hostess has to shoo her away to go smoke on the balcony. Darling, you can't smoke in here. Terrace. Then that's where I'll be. Yikes. Now I understand at this time it was okay to smoke in a lot of places, but if the hostess says you can't smoke in her home and that you have to go out on the terrace, it's pretty rude to just say, then that's where I'll be. But let's move on. We can see a pattern throughout the show that Carrie just doesn't fit into Big's lifestyle. Cue Charlotte. If you're not on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or anything like that, then let me enlighten you. There is a huge theory that's been going around for about 2 years, I'd say, where people theorize that Charlotte and Big would have been way better together. And I'm here to respectfully disagree. Hear me out. Big and Charlotte, both being high society, gets thrown around a lot as evidence for them being more compatible, but I'm not seeing it. Throughout the show, we see Charlotte meeting boyfriends at social gatherings like fundraising events or gallery openings. How come Charlotte never ran into Big at one of those events? Why is it that when Carrie has run into Big out in the world, it's usually at some club or bar? I think there's different levels of high society and different circles, and not everyone is intermingling in these circles. Is Big getting invited to these fundraising events or gallery openings? Is he just choosing not to go? Or has he been ostracized by some of these event coordinators? Do Charlotte and Big even exist in the same social circles? We're not really told the specifics of either Charlotte or Big's background, but we do get some hints. Charlotte mentions growing up around horses and being into equestrian hobbies. In season 2 episode 10, The Caste System, she makes some comments that hint at how much she values wealth and a certain status. While Miranda is talking about her new relationship with Steve and how there's an obvious income gap between them, Charlotte says, honestly, I don't know how you can get serious with a guy whose entire future is based on tips. Later, she says, you're talking about more than a difference in income. You're talking about a difference in background and education. You're trying to pretend we live in a classless society, and we don't. Now, I'm not going to sit here and call Charlotte a 1%er, and I'm not going to try and figure out just exactly how much money she comes from and how much she has access to. That would require a lot more research, and that could be a separate video one day. But for today, we know that she works at the gallery and she does bring in a chunk of change. But let's not forget that in season 4, episode 16, when Carrie needs to either buy her apartment, starting with a down payment, or move, she states in a heated argument with Charlotte, "So yes, I have made some mistakes, and Charlotte, you have made some mistakes. When you were making those mistakes, I was sitting across from you at the coffee shop, nodding and listening and supporting you. I was not sitting at a Chinese restaurant turning away when you should have been looking at me. And what kills me is you don't even have to work. You're volunteering." Don't forget that Charlotte quit her gallery job while she was married to Trey because they were trying for a baby. That's right, she quit her job before she even got pregnant because she knew she would be okay financially. Now, I understand at the time it was also because Trey made excellent money, but she never ended up getting a job after they divorced. I know she got a $1 million settlement, but it's not like she's been portrayed as really frugal or anything like that. She enjoys shopping and she donates money to charity and she has her own expenses. I definitely think she had her own family money that she was able to fall back on. With Big, all we know is that he works a great job and he makes great money. We know that his character is actually based off of Ron Galati, publishing executive, former publisher of GQ and Talk Magazine. I've seen some people compare Charlotte as someone who is old money and Big as someone who is new money. If that is the case, then it makes complete sense that although they are both wealthy, they run in completely different social circles, and those different social circles will have different standards for behavior that they are willing to accept. Old money and new money don't typically mix, but honestly, feel free to correct me on this one. My entire knowledge of old money versus new money is from Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley from Pride and Prejudice. Anyways, it makes complete sense that Charlotte and Big just never ran into each other and never even had the opportunity to meet or fall in love. And let's be serious for a second. After divorcing Barbara when he cheated on her, and then divorcing Natasha when he cheated on her, we can absolutely see some social circles completely icing him out. Don't forget that Samantha actually made a similar mistake. In season 2, episode 5, Samantha kissed the wrong husband and she was completely excluded from social events and even fundraisers. Who's to say this hasn't happened to Big multiple times? But for the sake of this video, let's play a game. Hypothetically, if Charlotte and Big did meet up somewhere before Carrie met Big and they started dating, what would realistically happen? Big never had any children with Barbara, Natasha, or Carrie. He never mentions wanting kids, so I think it's safe to assume that he either didn't care about kids or he definitely didn't want any. Charlotte has always wanted kids, we know this, and it's the main reason why her and Trey get a divorce. So for this reason, Charlotte and Big were never going to make it because Charlotte isn't going to sit around and try to convince a man to have children with her. She didn't do that with Trey. She was under the impression that he wanted kids, and that's why she was willing to go through the painful and stressful IVF. Then, when that wasn't working, she was willing to learn Mandarin and adopt. This was met with a harsh conversation between the two, finalizing their marriage. "I'm sorry, I want a baby. I thought that's what you wanted too." "So did I. I don't think I should have to give that up." "You shouldn't. You can have the apartment. I'll move back in with Mother." So even if Big and Charlotte did get to the point where they got married, it wouldn't last. They would meet the same fate that Charlotte and Trey did, and this is assuming Big wouldn't cheat on her first. Let's look at his track record. Barbara and Carrie have this conversation in season 1, episode 8. "So, never been married?" "Once, a long time ago." "Really? What happened?" "He had a wandering eye. Wandered right over to my best friend." "What about you? Are you seeing anyone?" And we know with Natasha that Big cheated on her with Carrie. And then with Carrie, he was kind of seeing other people when they were dating, but this is honestly really debatable because it wasn't clear if they were exclusive or not. So I'm going to give Big a pass on this one with Carrie. But fact of the matter is, he has cheated on 2 out of 3 wives. That's pretty insane. And on another note, if Big and Charlotte were just dating, was Charlotte ever going to actually put up with half of the things that Big did with Carrie. He was dodgy when it came to them being exclusive or not. He was dodgy with saying I love you. He was dodgy with introducing Carrie to his mother. He was dodgy with introducing Carrie to his friends. He made it so that Carrie really had to chase him. Now, I'm not saying Charlotte can't chase anyone. She literally converted to Judaism for Harry, but listen, they had already talked about getting married and having kids before she converted. Season 6, episode 1 has this conversation. Well, if we were to get married, we're just trading information here, I would want our children to be raised Jewish. Well, if that's really the reason, then I have to tell you something. I may not be able to give you children. We'll adopt or something. So if you were going to call Charlotte converting to Judaism as her chasing Harry, then let's call it like it is. She was ready to chase, in a sense, only after fully understanding and communicating each other's boundaries and expectations. Harry wouldn't marry her unless she converted, and she wouldn't marry him unless he fully understood her stance on wanting to have a family, and that she might not be able to get pregnant, so they need to entertain other options. Only after this conversation do they eventually work out. Would Big have been able to have this conversation with Charlotte? I don't think so. I think on paper, they seem like a match made in heaven because they look really good standing next to each other and giving us this idealized old money versus new money chic look. That's just so #classy. But the reality is, Charlotte knew exactly what she wanted, and she wasn't going to let anyone stand in her way of getting a husband and children. Big didn't know what he wanted. He didn't know if he wanted Barbara or her best friend, Natasha or Carrie, and he didn't even know if he wanted to be married for the 3rd time. Hence why he just left Carrie at the altar after being on and off for 6 years and then solidly together for 4 years. 10 years of a romantic history with Carrie, and he still left her at the altar. Y'all can try to pair up Charlotte and Big all you want, but I would never wish that on her. Hey y'all, thanks so much for all the love and support on my last video. It really means a lot to me. I never thought my first video on this channel would blow up like that, and I really appreciate all of the likes, comments, and subscribes, as it's really helping this brand new channel grow. I'm excited to make more content for y'all and create a community, so please let me know what your thoughts are about Big and Charlotte, and if you have a suggestion for the next video, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.